All right, muchachos. So as you are listening, we're going to go over certain things here on our sheet here. So you can be answering the questions so we can get the very, very basics in terms of our use of object pronouns. Okay, and we'll kind of refer back to some of the slides we've looked at. Okay, so our first one that we want to make sure we understand as we're using pronouns. Here, it's crazy. As we're using pronouns, okay, we've used pronouns before. We've used subject pronouns that would be like yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros, ustedes, ellos, ellas, right? Those are subject pronouns. Those are pronouns that work to show who is doing the action, who's the subject of the sentence. Right now, we want to use object pronouns. So as we take a look back at our slides, let me get there for us. Ooh, a lot of tabs. All right. We said that our indirect object pronouns help us know who is receiving the action, who is the one that something is happening to. As in this example, right? If we have something like the doctor examines me, we can ask first who is doing the action, who's the one that is examining, and we know that's the doctor, right? And so the next question is who is the one being examined, and it's me. Now, when we're using it in Spanish, we're always going to put that before the verb. So we would say that doctor examines me. En español, el médico me examina. Okay? And same goes as we're talking about some of those other examples. So if something is happening to you in the informal, right, we'll use te, right, as in te gusta, if we're looking back, right? Te gustan los deportes. If it's happening to us, and I know it's a little out of order from your sheet, but if it's happening to us, as in me and at least one other person. So if I say something like a Pablo y a mí, right? That's now two people, including myself. We're going to use nos. That also applies if we say something like a nosotros, nos, right? All right, and this is where we get into le and les. This would correspond to when we're talking about él, ella, usted, right? When we're using those subject pronouns, that is what we're going to correspond with our object pronouns. So if something is happening to him, a él, we would use le. If it's happening to her, a ella, we use le. If it's happening to you, formal, a usted, right? And that goes for also any names you see that apply to one person, right? And so that's when we're going to use le. And the flip side of that is les, which is just the plural. So just like we do with our subject pronouns, right? Usted, to make it plural, it's ustedes. That's you all, right? Él and ella, ellos, ellas. And then if there are multiple people involved and I'm not involved, all of that corresponds to les if something is happening to those people. So a ellos, a ellas, a ustedes. And then again, if we see multiple people that are receiving some type of action, that something is happening to them, we're going to use those things. So as we are taking a look, okay, I'm going to kind of scroll down here so I don't give away those answers. Okay, so number 2, el médico me examina. It's happening to me. He's examining me, right? Number 3, something is happening to you. We assume it's informal. We'll say, ¿te gustan los deportes? Something is happening to her or him or someone else. A ella le interesa la clase. As in, that class interests her, right? The class is doing the action. The action is interesting, right? And then she is the one that is being interested by that class. Something's happening to us, a Juan y a mí, or we could say a nosotros, nos da la receta, right? They are given that prescription. And something is happening to them or you all. Les duele la cabeza a ustedes. To clarify who we're talking to or about, right? Les duele la cabeza. Does your head hurt? Right? Your head's doing the action, and in this case, you all are the object, the one that's being hurt, by your individual needs, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand our ability to use these sentences. All right, let's take a look at some practice. Okay. You can pause so you can have a second to answer these, but I'm going to go over it and then move on to the next one. So we want to translate the sentence. As you're doing it, the process should be we're thinking who's doing the action. Okay, get that out of the way so that doesn't confuse you. Number two, what are they doing? So we're very clear, we can see exactly what's happening. And who is the one that's receiving that action? Okay. So you can pause so you have a second to work on that. I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so the couple of options on how we can translate this, right? Yo les doy el videojuego a mis amigos. Right? I give the video game to my friends, right? I'm the one doing the action. Yo doy el videojuego. I am giving that video game. And then who is receiving that action? Les is the clue, and the verification is a mis amigos, right? I give the video game to my friends, or I give my friends the video game. Either way makes sense. Either way is a translation. All right, number 6. This is an order question. You're going to see a couple of these on the final. Okay, so you have this out of order, and we want to be able to put it in order. We have a couple of clues, right? There's a capital, there's a period. And so that's exactly where those will be. So we have me, we have él, we have pulso, period, toma, enfermero, and él. And we know we want to say the nurse takes my pulse, okay, which is going to be worded slightly different. Right? We're not going to say it exactly like that. We're going to say it using that object pronoun. So if you want to pause so you can work on it for a second, please do. All right. So we have our capital, right? El enfermero. He is doing the action. That nurse is doing the action, right? And we want to know what's the action, and that's going to be toma. We know that's going to mean take, as in toma un examen, right? And so who is receiving the action is the next question, right? If we were to say the whole action, we're saying takes the pulse, right? That's the entire action together. So el enfermero is doing the action, toma el pulso is the action, and it's happening to whom? It's happening to me, right? And remember, we always put that pronoun before the action, and so it'll end up being el enfermero me toma el pulso, the nurse takes my pulse. All right. It's a little bit of practice, just a general view, make sure we're on track with those object pronouns.